All right, folks, it's time for another 2025 coin review. This time we're talking Sologenic, and you're going to want to stick around for this one because the outlook is a debate between a 10x or a 33x potential for Sologenic when we look at the technicals. And then I'm going to break down from a fundamental basis how Sologenic is perfectly positioned for regulations coming in, as they've set out to be basically one of the leading platforms for the tokenization of real-world assets and a stock market getting tokenized. And so, full disclosure, I do own a little bit of Sologenic, only the Sologenic that I was airdropped back in 2020, 2021 when this airdrop was conducted. Similar to Flare, they took a snapshot and then they airdropped some Sologenic to XRP holders. And so that's the only Sologenic that I hold right now at the time of this recording. But after going through my deep dive on this project and looking at the technicals and the outlook, I may be picking up some more, and it's very likely that I'm going to be picking up some more. I'm interested to hear from you guys, though. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this project. If you appreciate these deep dives, make sure you like this video and help me out by sharing it out far and wide. I really do appreciate your support. And all of our community resources are available at zachrector.com. Now, one of the first things here, this is something that needs to get fixed right away, and that would be the CoinMarketCap listing. This is not really a Sologenic problem. It's really a CoinMarketCap issue. They're very difficult to reach out to get them to adjust and update your token. And so I know that this is not necessarily on Sologenic, but it's something that I think needs to be a priority, because when people are looking to discover this token, they need to be able to find basically, who's holding it, how's the distribution. And going back, I was looking through this on CoinMarketCap. A bunch of the Sologenic holders are on Binance. One of basically the biggest wallets for Sologenic are the Binance hot wallets, where basically if you were an XRP holder on Binance during the time of the Sologenic snapshot, you were airdropped Sologenic to your Binance wallet, but Sologenic was never listed on Binance. Now, it was integrated into the BNB Smart Chain, so that's one of the prerequisites to getting listed on Binance. Now we just need to cut the check. And that's one of the things that I'd like to see for Sologenic is, one, fixing the CoinMarketCap listing, and then two, we also need to get more centralized exchange listings. Has to happen. We need to get on Binance, need to get on Coinbase. I checked my Caleb and Brown. They're not available there. We need to make that happen. Basically, the only tier one exchange that I see them listed on right now is Uphold. That's it. So that's one of the problems that I have for Sologenic right now is we need more centralized exchange listings. I think that the team needs to use those tokens that they got right now to make this happen. Has to be done because we need discoverability. And what they're looking to do by tokenizing stocks and real-world assets, is going to bring people in outside of the XRP Ledger ecosystem. For many XRP Ledger tokens, your addressable market is really just the XRP community. And unless you have something cooking here in the real world, you're not going to be able to get discoverability outside of the XRP Ledger. You might as well be a meme coin. Now, for Sologenic, they got some real stuff going here, but they need to get the word out, and they need accessibility. They need more liquidity. And so I know it's not cheap, but we got to get it done. We got to get listed on centralized exchanges. And I think that's going to be key to getting more discoverability for Sologenic. Now, going to the CoinMarketCap page here, they're reporting 399 million circulating supply. The total max supply is 400 million. And it's a little bit difficult, like I said, when you go to look through the wallet addresses to figure out who's the top holders. The top two holders are Binance hot wallets. And then I reached out to somebody and they said that basically Sologenic holds about 10% of the current supplies is what I heard. And so, the Sologenic team there has a bag that they have to work with. And there's some things that I'm going to lay out here in this episode of what I think they need to do to encourage adoption and growth and really incentivize people to buy and hold this token and to use this token. It's one of the main things that's missing for Sologenic is use cases for the token. Now, what Sologenic is they were basically the first or one of the first user interfaces for the XRP Ledger DEX. For those of you guys who don't know, the XRP Ledger has a decentralized exchange built into it. And so now we have many interfaces that are live. We have XP Market, X Magnetic, Anados Finance, and Sologenic was basically the first that I know of that really brought forward a platform for folks to interact with the XRP Ledger DEX freely. And so I'll show you here real quick before I show you their page. This is the chart on Sologenic this year. The lows of this year were down to about 7 cents, 8 cents. And then after the election, this thing pumped 900% all the way up to about 90 cents. It's cooled off now to about 40 cents at the time of this recording, but a 900% pump for Sologenic after the election. Absolutely massive. Let me slide on over here. This is the Solo Dex right here. You're looking at the interface. And so you have simple swap trading. You also have NFTs. You have an ability to bridge to Corium, which is a layer 1 smart contract platform that they've built. So basically you have Sologenic, and then that same team went and launched Corium, which is a separate blockchain from the XRP ledger. It's a native layer 1 blockchain. They call it a Gen 3 blockchain, layer 1 blockchain. And that's where they're doing smart contracts. And they've built a pretty interesting bridge where you can bridge, basically, from my understanding, any XRP ledger token over to Corium. Now, that's a good utility right there. Love to see it. They also here on the page have the token hub where you can do an IDO launchpad. You can do airdrops, simple swap. They have fiat. They're looking to launch a Solo credit card here soon where you'll be able to earn rewards. And so this is one use case that could be coming down the road for Sologenic. The token is incentivizing people through that credit card, you know, the use of basically stable coins or US dollars with that card, but then you incentivize it with rewards paid back in Solo. That's what I'm hoping is coming down the pike here. Now, the DEX interface is pretty nice compared to others. It's okay. It does need to add a little bit more here. When I look at XP Market, they're giving you a little bit more data on the AMMs. They're giving you a little bit more data on the tokens themselves. I think that some of that could be added to the DEX, but other than that, it's a pretty slick interface. It works pretty well. I used to use it more back in the day, or at least I had it back in the day. But like I said, you know, Sologenic was really ahead of the game. They created this platform before we even had NFTs. They created this platform before we had the AMMs. Now, XRP Ledger DeFi is starting to get cooking, and so their interface is going to have more activity. But there's also more competition, like I said. This is where Sologenic has to move quickly, not just as other interfaces are coming in for the XRP Ledger, but also what they're looking to do with the tokenization of real-world assets in the stock market. Now, here recently, they've announced a new CEO of Sologenic coming in, and this is a gentleman by the name of Mike McCluskey. Okay? And so I was looking at his experience, nearly 2 decades of experience from pivotal roles at Fidelity Investments and multiple fintech organizations, while also being an active member of the Boston Blockchain Association. So he's got sales leadership, strategic partnerships, and payments technology, making him an ideal leader to propel Sologenic's mission of merging traditional financial markets with modern blockchain solutions. Sologenic is actively working with Texture Capital to build SoloTex, a platform for aiming to tokenize and trade capital markets on demand. McCluskey has joined as a board observer of Texture Capital, representing both CoreNest Capital and Sologenic in this venture. Let me show you what this is. This is pinned right now on Sologenic's Twitter on their X page. You guys can go check this out and watch this video. They did a little promo here, and this is Mike McCluskey right here in this video, the new CEO, looking good. And I really like this hire. I really like this one. This is a great move, great addition. And so what they're doing here is they partnered up with Texture, okay? They say, thanks to CoreNest VC for enabling this through their investment in Texture Capital, a US-based broker-dealer. This is important. And so they shot this little promo in front of the stock exchange there in Wall Street, okay? But I slide on over here. What CoreNest is the VC firm that was created by the co-founder of Sologenic, Bob Ross, and then the CTO of Sologenic, Reza Bashash. So they created this VC fund, and they're taking some of their capital and they're putting it to work here, and they've invested in Texture Capital. Texture Capital is ran and founded by Richard Johnson, this guy right here. It was founded in 2019. I slide on over to their website. What do? They are using the latest technology to help companies raise capital and connect investors with unique opportunities. Now, here's what we love to see right here, folks. We are an SEC-registered broker-dealer and FINRA member, supporting issuance of private placement digital securities and secondary market liquidity via our alternative trading system. By tokenizing securities using blockchain technology, our platform facilitates interactions between companies, funds, and investors, aggregates private market liquidity, and automates many of the complex administrative and compliance requirements around transactions and ongoing shareholder engagement. This is what's going to be needed to basically hold the hand of people that are looking to go public or people that are looking to raise capital. They are a registered broker-dealer with the SEC, and they're also a FINRA member. So they check off those boxes, and we absolutely love to see it. Now, I did know when I was looking into Texture, I was looking on Crunchbase, looking at how long they had existed since 2019, looking at any other deals that they've done, and they did do this deal. Texture Capital joins the Canton Network in preparation for deployment of its alternative trading system and transfer agent to facilitate institutional digital securities transactions. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because they are citing the public-private kind of hybrid blockchain that the Canton Network is. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because on the XRP Ledger, we just got a decentralized identity. In addition to that, we're getting credentials. And then there's another amendment in the pipeline that's also, I forget the name of it right now, but it's, gosh, why can't I remember it? Basically private liquidity pools, essentially is what it is. And so why this is important is because Sologenic came to the XRP Ledger before we had any programmability. Many players in the space are having to go to other blockchains like Canton Network or others that have this programmability, but finally the XRP Ledger is getting this programmability. And so what I'm hoping to see is that Texture Capital will join the XRP Ledger with Sologenic, and they can start to basically use the programmability on the XRP Ledger as they roll this out for their new product, Solotex, which is basically the new platform that they're making. Sologenic and Texture Capital, they're partnering up to create this new platform, which they're calling Solotex. And the XRP Ledger is going to be primed and ready to go now that we have decentralized identity, credentials, and then basically the ability to make it private too. We've seen that Ripple's done this as well. They've created private networks for their institutional central bank partners. And now we're going to have the same functionalities brought forward for everybody to be able to tap into on the XRP Ledger. And so I think there's an interesting deal to be done there if they can integrate the XRP Ledger there as well. So the reason why this is such a big deal, and folks need to understand why the tokenization of the stocks is such a big play to be done here, is because it's so expensive to go public. Now with the ability to tap in and raise capital while you're still private, look at Ripple, right? Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse says over and over again that they're in a position where they don't even need to go public because they can still raise capital, right? You got platforms like EquityZen, you got platforms like Link2 that are bringing more access and liquidity to private companies before they go public. And what I brought right here, this is from PricewaterhouseCoopers. This is the common examples of the costs and the fees that you pay to go public as a company in America. It ranges from about 4 to 7% of the gross IPO proceeds. So the more that you're raising and the more that you have in deal flow, the less you're going to pay. So if your IPO, if your IPO is over $1 billion, you're going to be at about 4%. And then basically your fees go all the way up to about 7% if you're in the 25 to 99 million range. So the average company, if they're only going to be able to raise about 25 to 100 million in capital, they're going to be paying about 7% in fees. What I think is the real opportunity here for platforms like Sologenic is to help and assist these companies even before they go public in raising capital, but also in assisting them to go public. So the fact that they've partnered up here with Texture allows them to help raise funds. And of course, with the accreditation standards and the way that the rules work, this would mostly be accessible to accredited investors. But eventually this could get opened up even further if the accreditation laws do change. But basically, an opportunity that I see here for Sologenic is to bring about a platform similar to Link2, where they could bring in companies where we could basically get investment opportunities into these companies before they go public. Basically, pre-IPO investment opportunities brought forward here. The platform texture would allow them to do so because they're a registered broker-dealer with the SEC and FINRA. So they're good to go. Massive opportunity. So to summarize real quick on the fundamentals of Sologenic and the opportunity that I see here and what I'd like to see out of them going forward, it's very simple. Here's what they need to fix. The coin market cap needs to be fixed right away. We need to clear that up. We need the real circulating supply. We need the wallet addresses there, distinguishing between, basically BNB Smart Chain Sologenic and Sologenic that's on the XRP ledger. And they've created a bridge where you can go back and forth. And apparently, if Binance ever does get listed and there is that integration with BNB already, you have a bridge back to the BNB Smart Chain. So you could go get additional functionality, smart contract capabilities by going through the BNB Smart Chain. You also obviously have Corium that they've launched as well. But we need to fix coin market cap. We need to get more centralized exchange listings. I know it's expensive. I think that it needs to be done right away. I know it's painful. Cut the check to Binance, cut the check to Coinbase, cut the check to Caleb and Brown. It has to be done. We got to get folks more accessibility to this. Not everybody's going to be able to go to the XRP Ledger DEX and understand how to do that. So you got to bring it to them. And so it has to be done. The final thing, like I mentioned, was the pre-IPO platform. They already got the launch pad for tokens. That's great. I want to see the launch pad for IPOs. That's a massive opportunity. And the ability to cut down the fees. The average company is going to pay 4 to 7% to go public. If they can, create a platform here and the ability to go public without having to shell out, 4 to 7% in fees and underwriting, that's a massive opportunity. Or just bring capital and investment opportunities to companies that aren't going to go public just by doing private placements in companies that need capital. Now, this ties back to some of the suggestions that I have for bringing utility and use case to the Sologenic token. When it comes to the interface, they need to be integrating the XRP Ledger amendments and the programmability and the functions that we're getting to the XRP Ledger as fast as possible. One of the main things that I think that this team needs to be focusing on is making sure that DEX interface is the best. When you compare it to XP Market, Anados, all those, there's competition now. So the Sologenic team needs to get on this, and it's already good. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just as these new amendments roll out, smart NFTs just got passed. We got decentralized identity, credentials, on-chain lending is coming, and this ties back to being able to lend your assets to these companies that are looking to raise capital. Right? Think of a world where you could basically use your Sologenic, use your XRP, use your XRP Ledger meme tokens as collateral. Maybe that wouldn't be a good idea as collateral, but you get my point. You could put up whatever you want as collateral in that on-chain lending that the XRP Ledger is going to have, and that lending could be given to a company that's just looking to raise some capital. They're not going to go IPO, but they need some capital. I think this is a massive opportunity for Sologenic to include something like that as soon as the XRP Ledger on-chain lending amendment goes live. And so it's one of the top priorities that I think that they should have is buttoning up the DEX interface, that DEX interface, that user interface, button it up. And then as these amendments go live, they need to be right on it right away. We need to be the first platform on it. And then next, we basically just need rewards, farming, and more incentives for people to hold and use Sologenic. That's the main thing that we're lacking right now for the token is real use cases, a real incentive to hold it. When you look at other platforms, they're doing farming programs, they're doing additional rewards. Obviously, I mentioned the credit card program that they're looking to launch. There's a waiting list for that right now. We need more incentive for folks to hold the tokens. And so for the bag of tokens that the team's sitting on right now, I think that they need to cut the check to the centralized exchanges right away. Binance, I don't need to list them again. You get my point. That needs to be done right away. And then with the remaining bag, I think that all that needs to be done for Sologenic is creating incentive programs and reward programs to reward the people that have invested in this project, that have invested in this vision, that are believers in what Sologenic is working on. We need to reward them. And so I think that they need to double down on the farming. If you look at XP Market in particular, I mean, XP Market is a perfect comparison to be made. And what they've done with their token is it's an AMM liquidity pool that's paying out some of the highest APY. Oh, well, really it's APR because it's always adjusting. But basically, the highest yielding pool on the XRP ledger is the XPM pool because they're putting in additional incentives. And I think that's one of the best use cases for this token that the team is sitting on. Get the centralized exchange listings, and then give additional rewards and incentives. So that's the rundown. XRP Ledger integrations, got to do it right away. As soon as these programmability and functionality goes live, we got to make it happen. Rewards, farming, on-chain lending, and the ability to basically create a platform where I could lend to a small business owner on the Sologenic platform. I would love to see something like that. I mean, it's coming to the XRP Ledger. It's just the faster and the best experience is who's going to win most when it comes to the XRP Ledger and all of these user interfaces that Sologenic is competing with. The other things that we need to fix: coin market cap, centralized exchange listings, and then a platform for pre-IPO. I think it's a great opportunity. The moment you've all been waiting for. Where the heck's this token going? The good news is that without any of this really being live yet, right? They've made some announcements. They're working on some things here. But Sologenic already ran up 900%. And I pulled a fib on this level right here, and you're going to see that this sucker could easily go up to about $3 with ease. Now, this is trading at 40 cents right now. Here's your chart. Now, from the November, right, then basically the election pump that Sologenic got was 948%. Absolutely massive. Bigger than XRP, bigger than XLM, bigger than a lot of tokens. I mean, that was a massive run, okay? But I pulled a fib here. If this thing goes up here, and even just goes up to the 3.618, or up to the 4.236, you're up to about a $3 Sologenic. From today's price at 40 cents, you're talking about a 7 or an 8x. So for me, I'm looking conservatively. This coin can easily, be looking at a 7 to a 10x, $3 to $4. The previous all-time high for Sologenic is about $6 in 2021, I believe. Or was it 2022? Let me fact check real quick. Yeah, December 2nd, 2021. Which is interesting to note because XRP topped out in April of 2021. Bitcoin topped out in November of 2021, right? And that was the end of the bull run. Sologenic topped out in December. Now, this time around, it's moving a little bit more closely with XRP. Just like with this election pump, XRP pumped about 600%. Sologenic did 900%. So going forward, my time frame is lining up for us to go into a next wave up here in the March-April timeframe. And I think this is when XRP is going up to about $8 to $10. Sologenic right here, this thing could easily be going up to $2-3, but that would only be half of its previous all-time high. Previous all-time high is $6.63. Now, my good friend Bunny, he has provided me some TA here on the Sologenic market cap dominance chart. And so what he found is massive. If this thing's going to do a full extension, a full retrace on the market dominance chart here, we're looking at 3,300%. That's where that 33x comes in. So I flip back to my chart. If we just, run up here to this fib that I drew, and this is just off of our, retrace from the past few months. This is kind of zoomed in on where we've been at lately. We're running up to a few bucks conservatively, but Bunny showed me this on the Sologenic market cap dominance chart. That's a 33x, and that's on the market cap. Where that would take Sologenic price-wise is about 12 to 13 bucks. And that's about a 33x opportunity, a 30 bagger. That's pretty ridiculous, right? I'm not going to hang my hat on that one, but I am conservatively looking at a 10 bagger for Sologenic, and I will be looking to probably take some profit on Sologenic as it approaches its previous all-time high. That's a very obvious level of resistance that will probably be met at about $6. But I might be keeping a little bit of my bag to see if we do this full extension up here to 10 to 13 bucks. We're talking about some real returns to be had for those of you guys that are invested in Sologenic if this plays out. And something to note here, the market cap dominance chart, the reason why we look at this is because it includes the inflation of the token. Now, as I mentioned at the very beginning of this, one of the best things going for Sologenic is the token distribution. It's very well distributed. It's one of the positives. And so Sologenic here, incredible setup on the technicals. And this is a move that we could see without any of the things that I talked about going live. Without any of these fundamentals, any of this partnership, tokenization of the stock market, a pre-IPO launch pad, a platform like that. All of that stuff aside, just from a technical basis, this thing's ready to rip in the next couple months before any of this happens. And so I think that you got a real move here, a real momentum trade to be had on Sologenic. And then I am, cautiously optimistic that they got some real, things cooking over there that would be a reason to hold some long term. But for the time being, it's a swing trade for me. I have some now. I'm going to probably pick up some more. And like I said, I'm going to be offloading this as it approaches its previous all-time high and then holding out to see if it does extend up fully to that $10 to $13 price range. Now, I don't think that will last long. And, depending on what this team does, it may end up being a long-term hold for me. But for now, it's a great momentum trade. And then I've laid out, kind of my vision and my outlook as far as what I'd like to see them accomplish for me to consider it as a long-term hold. But I'm interested to hear what you guys think about this project. One that I wasn't expecting to have so much upside. But you can see here, you got sleepers like this across the market. And folks are talking about, this bull market sucks and everything. And I think that a lot of people are getting lulled to sleep. And they're going to miss out on little sleepers like Sologenic here that are ready to rip 7 to 10x with ease, maybe a 20 or 30 bagger in the offing. You guys let me know what you think about it. If you appreciate these, please help me out by sharing these out far and wide. I do put a lot of effort into researching these projects. There's a lot more that I could say, but just trying to keep these at least under 30 minutes, is my goal. And so please help me out by sharing it out far and wide. If you do like it, please smack it. All of our community resources are available at ZachRector.com, and we got more coin reviews on the way, so stay tuned for more. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next one. God bless. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.